All right, guys. Hey, welcome back to the Monday Morning Mindset Podcast. Paul McLean here. And as I say every week, man, it's an honor and privilege to join you, to be with you. And I hope this provides great value to you. My desire every week is to bring you great value. A lot of times that takes place when I find a guest that I know when they share something, it's going to impact you. It's going to help level your business up. And I've got no question that the guest today is going to do that for you. So I want to welcome Ronnie. Ronnie, good to have you on, brother.
Thanks for having me, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, good to have you on, my man. Let me just say this, guys. Like, go get a pen and a piece of paper, get an iPad. You're gonna want to take notes. And if you care about people, just trust me. Share this now with somebody, your team, organization, somebody that's looking at the business because this will provide great value. But Ronnie, love to kind of just start off with like, sharing your story, dude. Like, what'd you do prior to insurance? What age did you get into insurance? What were some of the like the pitfalls and setbacks and trials that you had to kind of run through? And before we do that, I just want to make sure people understand who they're listening to if they don't, know already. Like, what is your group doing issue paid volume right now?
Right around 650, with the 30 to 40 people in onboarding right now, we should be for sure blown past a mil by the end of the year.
Okay, just to timestamp this, guys. This was taking place in July, and so if we go back to January, what were you guys doing in January as an organization?
We're doing about 150K a month, and I told myself to do 10x. You got to think 10x. So, pretty much that was my envision of I need to hit 1 million by the end of 2026. So right now we're ahead of pace for that, which is exactly as we planned.
I love that, dude. All right, so 100 grand, which is like just barely getting started. I mean, you could do that with you and one other agent, and now you're over 600,000 issue paid, trending your pipeline because it's one thing to say, man, look at my organization. This is the volume I've got. Well, there's a second thing to look at. What's in the pipeline? Because if nothing's coming to the pipeline, that 600 grand could fall back to four. But if you look at
Yep.
the pipeline, you're like, dude, this thing should go to a million. And so that's significant growth. You just turned 25. What are you depositing in your bank account like monthly?
I would say now consistently it's around 85 a month. It went from 30 to 20K in the beginning of the year to like 30 to 40 to 50, and then just immediately went from like 50 to 80 within like 2 months. But now it's consistently 85, where I've been doing that for the last 3 to 4 months.
I love that, dude. That's a great number. I think if anybody has got a desire to hit $1 million a year income, they know that that number is important because that's what it takes. And so it's possible, in fact, very likely that you'll hit a million this year in income if you have that growth that you're looking to have, which I believe you will. Would this be your first year you'd ever make seven figures?
Yeah, I'll definitely make seven figures this year with the trending growth. I mean, realistically, by the end of the year, it should be roughly around 130, 140, plus scaling another insurance team that I'm also getting paid on the back on as well. So not just including my own one main pipeline, but another pipeline as well.
I love that. Personal production, what does that look like for you? Like, what do you write each month?
Right now, I just checked it. I'm at 290 for the year. So realistically, I should end at 550 to 600 in personal by the end of the year as well.
Okay, I love that. All right, so let's go into prior to Pinnacle, prior to getting in the insurance business. What were you doing? And then what kind of got you attracted to the business, and then maybe some of the things that were kind of struggles early on that you had to kind of work through.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I started out in sales when I was 18. My parents retired right after high school, and they're like, "Hey, you can come with us or figure it out." So I was like, "Hey, adios. See you guys. Have fun." Got into sales at 18, was doing car sales for about a year, learned how to pretty much speak to every single type of person. Great character building, but I realized that there is such a cap on that income, and this is not where I want to be at. So I got into mortgage brokering. Did that for a while, and then things changed with the presidents and stuff like that, and then the interest rates went crazy. So pretty much everybody who wasn't vetted got canned out of that. And then I got into a tech startup position, which I was slinging software pretty much for people. And that was pretty solid, but then I got a better opportunity doing door-to-door remediation. So I was walking in, analyzing I'm sorry, property damage or for residential and commercial buildings. And I would say I was closing around an 80%. in person, and I was being paid peanuts, where I was being paid roughly just over $100,000. And I was like, with my skill set at a closer, and I'm getting paid X amount, like 7 grand, 8 grand a month at max, and I'm closing 80%. I need to be in a vehicle where I don't have to listen to a boss to ask for PTO or cap on my income. I needed something a little bit more where I have a little bit more control with my business, where I can invest in myself, and I actually feel like I'm not watching the clock because I'm running somebody else's dream play. Instead, now I'm running my own business where I get to obviously feel like whatever I put in, I get out. And I know those type of environments for me personally, I excel very well in. So that was my initial attraction to life insurance. Um, I My first week of training, I flew out to Chicago. I sold my motorcycle for like 10 grand, and that was like my little cash to start insurance. And I flew out to Chicago for about a week. Absolutely ripped my first week. Did like, I don't know, like 7 to 8K issue paid, made like 4 or 5 grand. And I was like, okay, awesome. This is real. Cool. Got paid out. And then that week turned into, it was supposed to be a week. It turned into like 2.5 months of just paying two rents, but also I was producing. So I was like, I need to be where the fire is. So I'm going to put myself in an environment where I'm going to be able to get the most growth possible. It doesn't matter if I have another rent that I'm paying $1,000 for or $2,000, whatever it may be. I'll just write another policy. So I told myself I needed to be in the fire. And then essentially, me and a couple other members started our own office here in Tempe a while ago. And then we scaled it, moved out of that office, scaled out of that old office. Now we're on our third office, which we're actually leaving as well. So we scaled it 4 times within the last 2 years. Now we roughly have probably around 190 agents altogether in the office. I currently have around 65. Yeah, it's been a pretty fun ride these last 2 years.
I love that, dude. Well, I think the one thing that I want to spotlight that I picked up as you're communicating kind of the journey for you, Ronnie, is that you had this abundant mindset. You weren't like scarce or lack of like, well, I've got two rents, so I can't go do this. You're like, nah, dude, like I'm going to double down. I'm going to do what it takes, and I'm willing to give up in the short term, maybe what would make sense on a P&L with two different expenses, and you decided to stay there because you saw the profit on it. Like, have you always kind of like, how did you develop that kind of mindset or perspective? Because I think that's a big thing that messes up a lot of agents is like they just don't see stuff the right way. Like they don't view it the right way. And how you view something is ultimately how you do something. And so if you're viewing something with scarcity, you never take those necessary steps that's going to give you the breakthrough to abundance that you hope for. Like, how did you develop that? Was that something that you were raised with? Did you start reading books, podcasts, like getting in different circles? Like, what do you kind of contribute that kind of higher level thought process perspective, that early on into a business?
Yeah, that's a multitude of different things. It's not just one thing. And if somebody says it's just one thing, then that maybe have been an significant growth period for them. But for me, it's multiple different aspects. And it really is your base, is your confidence. Because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're probably not going to be able to double down on something. So it stems from confidence. And now how do you build the confidence? You have to get the wins. Now, those wins can look completely different. They can look like a win in the gym where this person is making $5 million, but he's out of shape and you're in shape. That's a win. Or you're putting yourself around these high network or business owners that are very high level and they enjoy conversations with you, and then you have something to provide, even though you actually have done nothing with yourself or something like that, but you're putting yourself in these environments and you can play the role with them. Like that's a win. Being in those rooms, that's a win. Or you just in general have a level of whatever your perception is of this world, and you just know and you get that internal file that there's more for you. Like, why would you not trust your gut and want to double down on that? So it stems from confidence, but books are huge. I mean, when I was younger, when I was like 18, I pretty much completely re-envisioned what my life should look like, cut out all the stuff that wasn't making me that person, and then I decided to literally just play the role of the people that I want to be. So whether that's, oh, this person that I look up to, he's witty, he's smart, He has fashion sense. He's strong, athletic. He's hanging around good people. Okay, I'm going to find those good people, or I'm going to read a book so I can become more knowledgeable in this aspect, or I'm going to hit the gym and build my body physically. Like these are all different like aspects, and I think that confidence comes from versatility in different aspects. Where, let's say you're lacking in one category, but you are really good in this category, then you're going to need to amplify that, but also work on this. At least you have this win while you're working on that. So it comes from multiple different things. And I think that one of the biggest things you can do for yourself is place yourself in environments where people are doing significantly more than you. And if you're constantly putting yourself in those type of environments, um, you're going to see that you're not so different from all these other people. And you have an ability to get to that level if you put in the work.
Bro, that's so good. I want to spend some time here. And obviously, as we hopped on, I knew it would be great. I knew that this would be value packed. I didn't know which way it would go, but I want to spend some time on this because, like, when I'm listening to you talk, bro, like, to me, there's congruency in what you're saying and then what I've seen as I've gotten to know you. Like, to me, it looks like you're somebody that is always looking to reinvent themselves into a higher version of themselves, if that makes sense. Like I think that when you said you re-envisioned like what you wanted your life to look like, what did you want to look like? That's such a big thing, guys. And I remember hearing this. I think it was Erwin McManus. He's like, man, like God creates everything. He's created all things. And most of the things that he creates, they just do what they were created to do. Like a bee just creates a beehive, right? A worm, a silkworm just creates silk. It doesn't wake up one day and it can't reinvent what it's creating. It just creates what it was created to do. The
Hmm.
difference is that we were created in the image of God, which means that we're created to do what he does. And what does God do? He creates. He's a creator. And so that means that the superpower that we have is to create a whole new future. And this is the big deal. Like most agents, they don't ever step out and say, who do I want to be? Like I want to get this in my life, but what is the type of person that's achieving those things? What is their personality? What is their perspective? What is their values? What is their communication skills? What do they dress like? What do they look like? What do I want my life to look like, and who do I want to become? Dude, that is such a massive thing. I feel like that's the foundation to transformation. Like it first starts there. So talk about like this re-envision for somebody that's on here, like, okay, that makes sense. I got it. Like practically, Ronnie, like how do you think about it all day? Do you have some time in the morning where you kind of like, go through breath work and visualize like how does somebody, stop the pattern where their today looks like yesterday and tomorrow is going to look a lot like today because they're just moving through the emotions and usually what they're doing is just produced from the feelings that are tied to their past. So it's just this continuous like doom loop of like, I want this. However, they're never changing. So they don't really have a shot to get it, dude. Like self-sabotage will show up even if they start to produce evidence of what they want because they've not yet envisioned who they need to become. And
Hmm.
so maybe talk about that if there's something, that you do practically. I don't know if it's just something that's inherent that but like, is there something practical, somebody on here that's saying, I want to do that. How do I do that?
Hmm. I think a good methodology, and I think I'm stealing it from Hormozy, or Chris Williamson, but who knows where it stemmed from. But essentially, what I used to do back in the day is it's just back engineering everything, where essentially, let's say you have a goal to reach, let's just, for example, let's say I want to hit President's Club and I want my team to be doing 1 million in issue paid volume. Now that's the goal. Now let's re-engineer. So what does that person look like that is not going to hit that goal? What is that person going to do? He's probably going to wake up, not pour into his agents. He's not investing in leads. He's not using systems. He is not showing up to work on time. He's not fit in the gym. Like you can list down all the cons of everything that that person would do to not reach that goal and then just not do any of those. Like all of these things that this person would probably do to not reach that, you just delete them from your habits. So it's like through that you can see, oh, I'm probably doing this. Oh, I'm not showing up consistently in the office. Okay, that's probably something I need to work on. And then you can back engineer it that way. Or you can just front engineer it. Like, okay, what are the habits that this person that he's going to reach 1 million in team volume and he's also going to hit President's Club? Okay, he's going to wake up on time. He's going to invest 2 to 3K a week on leads. He's going to have recruiting events. He's going to be using social media and posting 4 times a week. Like you can do it 2 ways, or you can, or even do both, and then say, okay, out of all of these, which one am I actually doing, and which one is hurting me right now? Out of this list, and then kind of pick and piece the ones that you can add or you need to subtract.
Dude, that's so good, bro. I think what it comes down to is like that helps with awareness, right? Like you can kind of catch it before it just takes over or just destroys your ability to get to success, right? Like you can catch it right away when you're asking yourself, is this the type of person, like, is this thing I'm getting ready to do the successful version of me, would they do it? Like even response, man, like how would this person respond to this situation? Now, I think going back to one of the points you made, and I want to just highlight it because I think it was really important. You made a point of like making sure that you're in rooms of like next level people. It's like if you're the sharpest person always in the room, that old adage is like you're in the wrong room. Like, can you get
Mhm.
into higher level rooms? And dude, I remember for myself doing the same thing, being 19 and get into this insurance business and realizing like, dude, I've got a lot of people that are in proximity that have done really well, like that have made a lot of money, that have built big businesses. I'm watching them on stage. I'm watching how they communicate, how they connect. I'm taking notes on what they're saying, but I'm also like making notes on how they're saying it, like their delivery, their posture, their package, like how they push, how they pull, how they encourage somebody, how do they challenge somebody. Like I'm watching what's being done because if I want to be able to get into that position, well, then I got to also be willing to develop myself into the person that can hold that position. And so I
Mhm.
think this is such a big deal for people to really know what it looks like. It's kind of like, I don't remember, I think I was like in third grade and they used to always pass out those wristbands that said WWJD. Like what Jesus do, right? And what it was a reminder, like before you're getting ready to do something stupid, like just look at your wrist. Like I probably
Mhm.
shouldn't do that. Well, I mean, the reality is like you can do that in business. Like, dude, what would Ronnie do? Well, dude, Ronnie would pay both rents and he'd figure it out. He'd stay in the environment. Ronnie would invest in leads. He would bet on himself. Well, then do that. We'll
Mhm.
do that, right? And so it kind of checks yourself so you're able to spotlight maybe the thing that's gonna mess you up, right? It's gonna hold you back because it's spotlighted. And I think that oftentimes, man, like circumstances and situations and people, like life will bring those things to you to reveal where you're stuck. So like maybe if you're not producing at the level you want to produce at and you feel stuck, just ask yourself, like, what is this revealing to me that I can now adjust with a discipline, with a habit, with a thought process, whatever it is, and identify it and then do something about it. But if you don't identify it, you can't do nothing about it. You can't defeat what you
Mhm.
can't define. Are you defining the things in your business or in your life that you need to excavate so you could elevate to the position you want to hold? And so, dude, this is just so good, man. I mean, I'm taking a lot of from this, and it's making a difference. Me just thinking, because this is applicable, and I love it, Ronnie, how you're tying it to other things because they all bleed into each other. Like you said you find an area that you're winning in, and maybe focus on the fact that you're winning with your fitness and maybe your business isn't, but you're a winner. And so, like, let's go ahead and figure out now, maybe in the business box, you just don't have the right vision. Maybe in the fitness box, you know what you want to look at. Like, maybe you've looked at somebody on Instagram or whatever, and you're like, okay, I could do that. And you're watching what they're doing, and you're like, I'm going to emulate that. I'm going to work out like they work out. I'm going to eat the way they eat, whatever. And then you go to work. But maybe in business, you feel stuck because you don't have the same vision. And so, man, I absolutely love this. I think this is so good. Um, what would be something that if you're going back and talking to yourself, day one, like how long have you been in this space for?
2 years.
2 years. Okay, so I mean, it's been a minute. I mean, you just getting started. What would you be telling yourself, talking to yourself day one that you'd say, hey, don't do this, like avoid that, or do this? Like, what would be the feedback if you're able to sit down with your day one version of you that you'd be kind of giving some feedback and some coaching to now 2 years on the other side of this business?
Yeah, definitely a couple things for sure. I think the main thing is definitely post and start posting more often day one. Create a FOMO effect day one where you're posting your wins, you're posting your losses. That people or that warm network on your social media is going to see all the growth. They're also going to see your consistency. So posting 2 to 3 times a week on social media regarding insurance, whether that's posting agent wins, posting your own wins, posting office culture, posting just maybe the Christian aspect of this industry or our specific IMO, our leadership, edifying other people in the office. Like there is so many different ways to leverage different posts or whatever it may be. It doesn't have to be cookie cutter. I'm going to post my deal, post my deal, post my deal. Like that gets boring for people. So you need to show different aspects. Do that day one so you can create a FOMO effect, as in, let's say I post today and I'm a new agent, and then 3 months down the road, I've been posting 3 times, 4 times a week. Now, 3 months down the road, that's 30, 40, 50 posts, whatever it may be. Now that person's like, dang, he's super consistent. He shows up and he's doing this. I hate my job. I have a cap on my income. I have to ask my boss to leave for PTO. These are all like things that it's almost like catching a client when you're doing a deal. You're catching these recruits at the right time because you never know what aspect they're going through in their life, and it might be a perfect time for them to make a switch, and you never know. But what you can do is be consistent on your stories, so you always have that opportunity. I was being told this by my girlfriend, who's really good at marketing, and posts are great for showing your style, your type of content or who you are as a person, almost like a credibility play. The story posts are where you convert. So making sure that you're posting on your stories so you can convert, but being very intentional with a call to action. So a hand reach out where if you're just posting your numbers where I made X amount of commission, that's awesome. But where's the call out? Where's the, hey, I'm accepting 2 to 3 agents so I can teach them how to make this type of income for one call. Where is this? I'm bringing on 3 agents. That's it for this month. Let me know or DM for more info or something like that. Always got to do a call out or a call to action for these people so you can extend that hand out. The second thing is ROI versus a profit game. I was playing the ROI game for a long time and I learned this probably 6 to 8 months in. And if I would have learned it sooner, I would have made way more money. For example, I was spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month on leads, and I was making 20 to 30 because I had a really good ROI. My ROI was a 10x. But let's say I was spending $6,000 initially, and my ROI was 7x. I would have profited way more. Yeah, my ROI isn't as heavy, but I'm going to be profiting way more, which I can reinvest and then maybe buy some more systems or something that's going to increase my profit margins. So definitely the profit game, and also creating a selfless, the third thing is creating a selflessness within yourself, because for me personally, I struggled as a leader, like not being selfish, or I'm sorry, being selfish. I was very selfish. I wanted to do what Ronnie wanted to do. I wanted to sell and I wanted to just recruit and I wanted to bring people in but not maybe pour as much time as I should have into them. So really focusing on making sure that you're providing that mentorship and being that mentor. Like just giving them advice and giving them business knowledge is one thing, but being that person that they can actually look up to, come in the office when they're having a bad day, and then you being that, maybe even just a venting session for them, but they feel so comfortable with your leadership because they know that you have their best interest in them, where you're able to actually break down their walls, analyze what's going on, whether it's in their work life or is it their home life. Okay, this is the problem. This is where we can move forward, and this is where we can remedy that. But you only get access to that level of emotional breakdown if they feel comfortable with you. So making sure that you're a leader and providing enough value for them, and maybe putting yourself to the side a little bit every once in a while, or falling on the sword is really big with, especially when you're running a big team. A lot of egos will arise, and I think Jonah or Joe said this. I think it was Joe, but do you want to be rich or do you want to be right? So sometimes falling on the sword is super beneficial, and that's going to remedy that situation. You might take a small L, but you're going to win the war.
Dude, so good, bro. So good. Let me just say this because I think somebody on here is like, well, dude, I'm not selfish. Like, let me just tell you guys, everybody's selfish. It's just, is it coming out? Are you doing things that create the right perspective so you can be selfless? But by nature, everybody's selfish. And let me just make this point in case you're like, no, I'm not, dude. I promise you, I'm not selfish. Like when you look at a photo and it's a group photo, me and Ronnie take a picture with two others. Everybody's looking at themselves. They'll judge that photo based on how they look, not everybody else. Oh, the photo's great. Well, dude, like, no, the other person like's not even looking. You like, they're not even looking. It's a terrible photo, but you judge it by you. So everybody's by nature selfish, and so you have to intentionally, and everything that you're talking about, Ronnie, it's an intention. You have to get vision of yourself by intention. Like it's not by default, it's by design. You have to craft it. It's a thinking person. It takes work and effort mentally to go out there and do that. And the one thing I love that you said is like even a possible recruit, like you just gave so much sauce, dude, when it came to recruiting and building a business. Like everybody should go back through that, take diligent notes, and then actually apply it because it was so good. Like, what does your ideal recruit look like? What do they desire? What are their pain points? And now you've got all all the game plan that you need to go out there and create the content to be able to be effectively recruiting them. I mean, like that's all it is. It's like, what are their hot buttons? What are their pain points? What's their why? Like, what would drive them? What would encourage them? What are they looking for? And then cultivate your plan around that. And so I absolutely love that. So selflessness, profit game, make sure you're focused on that. Um, Dude, the big tips. And so it's like, what can you do today for somebody that you don't have to do? Like that's one thing that I have in my notes as I do my affirmations in the morning. It's like, what's one thing I could do today for somebody else that I don't have to do? Because that sets you up to be that selfless person. And the more votes you cast for that type of person, that's the more of that person that shows up. And the truth is, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but like, and you've heard it before, but it's the truth. Like if you help enough other people get what they want, you ultimately win anyways. Like that's how you grow a business. It's people that have unity, man. And people oftentimes are willing to go to war and do more things for somebody else than they are themselves. Like if I know, Ronnie, you believe in me, you've got my back, you want to pour into me, dude, you're betting on me, you see the best in me. And if you continually spotlight that and you're serving me, eventually I'm going to catch it, dude. And now I'm going to go out there and be a better version of me. And as I become a better version, the business grows because a growing business is comprised of growing people. And so absolutely love that. As we wrap up, I want to ask you this too. And because not only did you just drop a ton of like wisdom when it comes to building a team, building a business, and some of the fundamental concepts that you have to have deep rooted to do it. You're also a top producer, which is why I respect that immensely. Like I believe that being a top producer as you build a business, it actually helps you grow a business that much quicker because you don't get sidetracked by doing things that you shouldn't be doing because your time is limited because you got such a big block in it that you're actually more productive with the hours that you do have to build people, build a business, recruit, and lead. But I love that. Like you're leading by example. That's one of the greatest ways of leadership. That was I love that was a big thing for me, dude. I was a top 10 producer for 10 straight years with a massive organization because I just loved leading by example. I wanted to be the general that wasn't just encouraging from the back. It's like, bro, I'm gonna go freaking take the bullets on too. Like I'm charging. Let's go charge as well. And so anything that was coming up, I wanted to first be the one that was testing it. I wanted to be the first one that was doing it. And so that way I could be an excuse eliminator that would help lift the lid on the group that was finding excuses for whatever was bottlenecking them, right? And so, but talk about top producer mindset. So, what would be the biggest thing that you think is fundamentally different between elite producers and like average producers when it comes to mindset? Like, what have you identified to be kind of the biggest thing there?
Even tying it into like what I say to new recruits coming in, I actually go over three things. They usually ask, "Hey, what's the difference between a top producer and an average producer?" And I say three things. If this person comes into this industry and they're brand new and they have these three things, typically they're going to do very well. First thing is understanding that this is a real business and you have to invest in yourself. Your leads are your lifeline. If you're not buying leads at a high, dense quality or even high quality, then you're typically not going to get in front of as many people. So you need to be spending at bare minimum $3,000 to $4,000 a month initially starting, which I tell my agents if they don't have that saved aside, then let's wait 2 to 3 months, stack your chips, then we'll start the industry. But understanding that this is a real industry, buying high quality leads and buying a lot of them, because the agent who, let's say, has a super really good skill set, but they don't have capital versus the agent who sucks at sales, but he has a lot of capital to invest, that agent that sucks, that has capital to invest is going to get in front of way more people so we can actually get shots on the court where he's actually in front of hot qualified appointments or even just finding the laydowns because they will happen opposed to the person over here who doesn't have any income and or he's not spending money on leads and he has less shots at the hoop, right? The second thing is sponge-like mindset. Really trusting in your mentorship, really understanding that this person is giving you all the ball knowledge that you need and trying to put you in the best position possible. And also understanding that these systems that we have in place are amazing, and you need to be utilizing every single one of them as we slowly integrate these systems to whether that's a CRM, whether that's the KPI trackers, whether that's resources within the office where we're doing advanced market trainings or new agent trainings, virtual Pakistani call center that you can easily get onboarded, stuff like that. You need to be leveraging these systems because these systems that we have weren't here a year and a half, 2, 3, 4 years ago. So essentially making sure that they obviously use those properly. And then the third thing is, as a new agent, typically somebody will come in from a W-2 standpoint. And when you're told to do something or, oh, you need to be at this point at this time at 7 a.m. and then you need to do this task and you have to show up and then clock in and clock out. You're being told what to do. In this industry, you're not being told what to do. You're given a blueprint and you have to row the boat yourself. So creating a system within yourself, whatever that looks like, whether that's like, yeah, Ronnie does really well when he wakes up at 5 and does a 2 mile run and then dials from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. or and then goes to the gym, like creating that own system within yourself and doing some deep analytical work of like, okay, this is where I'm going to produce the most. I'm going to spend my 10 hours dialing in this portion. I'm still going to hit the gym over here. I'm going to have an hour with my girlfriend and I'm going to go on a walk and meal prep and then I'm going to be ready for the next day. So creating that internal system within yourself to set yourself up for success, where it's almost like you're lining out your clothes for the next day, so you know exactly what's going to happen. Those are the three things that I see that will make a new recruit come in. But let's say you're already in the industry. Let's say you've been doing it for 3 to 4 months. Typically, if you're not producing at the level that you want, you either need to drop your ego and go sit next to a top producer who's doing 80K, 100K a month, whatever it may be, and literally take their advice like without a grain of salt. Like you're taking it so raw where it's like, oh, dang, I'm doing this and you're doing that. Okay, you're investing this. How much? Okay, cool. I'm going to do that. Like literally, it's a copy and paste industry where it is not rocket science. You can go sit next to a top producer or hop in a Discord, listen to how that person closes, analyze what you're doing. Because if you're just doing reps and you're not improving, then realistically, like that's the definition of insanity if you don't reanalyze what you're doing and then micro adjust. You need to be micro adjusting constantly, and you can use that for all the aspects in your life. But let's just talk production where, okay, I sat next to Damon and he's doing 100K and I'm only doing 20K a month. How much is Damon spending on leads? Where is his lead sources? How is he closing? How is he sending his verification? How is he following up with the client? When is he following up? Like you can dive into as deep as you want, almost like you're doing a financial inventory with a client. Do a financial inventory with that top producer. Ask as many questions as possible to analyze his system and then combat it to yours.
Dude, this has been so good, man. And that's a beautiful thing about this business is like work ethic is really ultimately what matters so much more here than it does most places. It's not skill set, it's not gift set, because the best copycat wins. Like, are you going to go out there and just be a good duplicator, right? Are you going to get yourself in front of the right model worth duplicating? And those micro adjustments are so essential, man. I mean, I think that, there's been so much substance on this podcast today. Like my thought is like, we're going to put this on, the vault and make sure everybody has access to go through and watch this and listen to it. And dude, this has been phenomenal, man. Thank you for hopping on, Ronnie. And there's no question, bro. Like this, if I'm a betting person, which maybe I am, dude, I'm placing a big bet on you, bro, and what you're gonna do. And I love being in your corner and watching you run this race, dude.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. Hey, we love you. Make it a big week. Stay strong. Stay steadfast. We'll talk to you next week. God bless you guys.
See you guys.